Let me tell you a story about the UN. Some rich bankers decided to make something called the League of Nations. They failed, and then they had a semi illegal vote in Congress. You can look into the vote itself and how it was created. It's something that we recognize in America and the Federal Reserve as well. And I encourage you to look into both of those, since I fear I am conflating them in my mind at the moment. So I'm thinking about race and religion. And I have very powerful friends. The most powerful people in the world are my friends. World leaders, and they're also, some of them are my enemies. Like Elijah Cummings was an enemy. He's dead now. I got off of house arrest the day that he died. He was executed by the military for treason and conspiracy. When people really find out what politicians were doing, and to American citizens like myself, when George H.W. Bush said if the American people knew what we had done, they would chase us down the street. Whatever that quote is. I guess people just weren't concerned about it. Just didn't think it was a big deal. Maybe it's just a figure of speech to say we're part of a conspiracy against you that's so vast that when you find out, you, the tame, compassionate, sedated, dumbed down, that's why they're dumbing you down so aggressively. They want you to be physically weak, beta males, divided so that, it's like a ball of yarn with like a bunch of balls of yarn all mixed together. And the yarn's, identified by color. But if you pull on it, it pulls on all the other ones anyway. So when Q says they've divided you by race and religion and culture and class and this and that and that and that and that, Q is not saying this is what's happening. Q is saying this already happened. So, therefore, for America to move against anyone in a meaningful manner, it's a domino effect. And the question's always, what's it really worth? What's it really worth to go after these people? They've been, sacrificing and trafficking children for 4,000 years, from Babylon to, the Hebrews to Israel to the Talmud. Right through to Bohemian Grove and Planned Parenthood. It's almost like they have competitions to see who can kill the most people. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that the women don't rebel against that. And that's what I think this video is about. I'm really lonely sometimes. It's really terrible. And I think back to Elijah Cummings now and his ghost after he died came here to our home and he's basically said I seem scary, but I'm a much nicer guy than he knew when he was alive. He didn't have a clue, and he was wrong about me. But he asked me to have a black wife as well, which I'm not going to do, most likely. I'm already 43. I mean, maybe I will. I don't know. I kind of think not. And I'm wondering if, because of the power structure, like, what place in America do I like the least? California. Who's my one male contact? A guy in California. And Somerset Belanoff and the ghosts of Glamis Castle, and my wife at Glamis Castle, Casillas Castle. These are other topics. But when speaking on behalf of everyone I speak on behalf of, I say I work for Q+. You know who Q+ is. There's things Q+ can't say. JFK actually understood a lot more than most Democrats as far as the true nature of the power structure. Smaller and smaller circles. It feels like there's like 50 people in the world. That's how it feels. That's literally how it feels to me now. It's like I take it as a matter of course and tradition to believe that there's these other countries with people living their lives in this world that I'm living in. That's what a couple years in special service, special protection will do to you. Having satellites watching over me. Us. Trying to figure out where she is right now. I don't know. She's up there, isn't she? North, east, south, west. She's southwest. A little bit more west than southwest. So maybe that's why my social media reach has diminished. Because I'm affiliated, with every mafia, religion, and agency worth knowing in the world, including some that you'll never hear of ever. Exactly. Because they could just as easily not exist at all. It wouldn't make any difference to most people. Just a matter of tradition, as much as anything. I know some of my friends in England, Britain, Scotland, they'll appreciate that notion. Ireland, deep Scandinavia, Masonic circles. When I talk about race, it's not a necessity, isn't it? Who else wants to do it? I don't think that you do. I reckon your buddy over there, he doesn't want to do it either. People don't want to say what others don't want to hear. It's just how it's been for some time now. It's rotten, ain't it? It's just not right. People should say the truth. The truth is, long ago, in these very circumstances, there's no way we would have allowed this invasion at our border into our culture of these perverse ideas and ideals of these peoples who are conquered in their spirit before they come here. And they bring nothing. They bring no talents. They bring no gifts. They bring no wisdom. They bring no learning. They bring their white man help us signs. It's written all over them. White man help us. And then the ACLU, the Un-American Activities Bureau. Basically, the ACLU is snakes. They're un-American snakes. They're a mafia. They're a mafia. Their office should be burned down, and everyone knows it. The UN may be allowed to exist, but China has a lot of Chinese people. So many Chinese people that they just burnt down Australia to move in. They want to move in. They want to just exterminate, a few more nations in Africa so they can move in there too. And they will, because they can. But white nations, well, white people, we are not being allowed to have our own place, country for white men, because the whole world envies us, hates us, fears us, and they want to gang up on us. And they have been, while groveling to our face and at our feet. They stab us in the back. These Africans come from savage places. If you look at where they come from, that is who they are. I see these people getting applauded, saying, we're for legal immigration. Come here, be legal immigrants. It's like, buddy, you're so low. Your mindset, your awareness of the problems are so low that instead of talking about what you might say is 12 or 18 or one smart guy at Yale said the true number is 30, but the true number was 40 million years ago, like 5 years ago. And I'm not hearing about massive deportation of millions of people. And that's what's necessary. Really, there's too many of them. You can't kick them out, you have to kill them. It's war. And it's a war that's already being fought. You look at the interracial violence and, the Zionists and the other scumbags, they figured they would just dwindle our numbers down and then, help us cull the rest of the world's population into like a reasonable number. But really, they don't intend to do that. Anything that other races say to white people is a lie when it comes to things like that. It's to the point now, like with identity, I respect China because I respect Bruce Lee, and he contributed a lot to the world. He's one man, though. He contributed a lot to the world. The Chinese, however, can imitate, but they can't innovate. They have great numbers. of men who need a war. I know for a fact that Russia, China, and the USA working together is the most important. It's the only way that it's the only way that anything works out. The USA has by far the best technology. But, there are a lot of really evil, terrible Jewish people and Catholics that truly helped the Arabs invade through Ukraine. It was a major human smuggling area. And the goal is white genocide, the end of white people. And it's not just that these, mudblood idiots with an IQ of 15 are coming to Western nations to mooch off of our kindness and our feeling sorry for the inferior races. Like, it must be terrible to be so stupid and to want to bite the hand that feeds you the way that the blacks and Arabs do. Like, they had no wealth. The Muslims had no wealth until the white man found their oil. It's a very sad situation, Like, there's a lot of interesting aspects about those cultures, old cultures. It would just be a shame to have to, kill all of them so that we, as the superior people, everyone says we're superior. And the Ashkenazi Jews just are white Jews. Ashkenazi. Ash, Kenazi. So the Jews just recruit atheists and Satanists and criminals with high IQs occasionally, and put them in positions where they want them to, And those Ashkenazi Jews have no loyalty to anything but money and fear of the vile people that the Jews actually are. So, then Hitler, he led 6 million of his own people to the slaughter. The Holocaust was the murder of Nazis, I mean, we do the most for the world, we always have. It's the white man's burden. It's also a sacred responsibility. And for too long, the white man has shirked the responsibility of looking after his own first, making sure his own stock, his own people, his own resources are squared away and good to go. And this type of stupidity has been applauded, and I say no more, no more.